This is week 6 of doing the Tai Chi sword form. We added a whole lot of moves today. We just kind of kept going. So we'll almost certainly be going over them again next week, but I'll go through all of them nonetheless. As I always, start off with just the entire form as we know it. I'm going to start off a little different. I'm going to be facing the other way because a lot of the interesting stuff is actually going to need to face this way. So. Now we get to all the new stuff. That's right. I did that slightly wrong. Separate. All right, got a little off camera, but hopefully that's not an issue. So with the new stuff, there are a few corrections in there that I probably should start with first. After stab the quarter, little circle comes up, and the Charlie said here, I've been really picky about wrist up and bringing down, which was not correct. It is much more just of a straight slash. You're still trying to keep this roughly horizontal though, and that makes this flick a little easier. Also after this, I had not been focusing on my sword enough. The next one is like the sword kind of cutting across the water, and you're picking something, you pick something up, fling it. So that's so that gets that feel a bit better. As for the new moves, the first thing we're going to do is bring the sword facing down, stab that way, sword facing up, bring the leg in, step and strike, Bring the sword in facing down, and a long strike. Now that goes back and forth, of course. So if I do it towards the camera, so I just got there. I'm just gonna bring sword under, do a stab. Then I'll bring it over, bring in the leg, step and stab. This time it was upright. So then we bring it down again. This time, when we do the long one, we're gonna twist while striking. Then once you finish that, say block as though their sword is on this side, striking forward, and you're blocking it that way. It comes out, back, block. And of course, we're never always on the defensive, so the instant we get that block, we get to do a strike to that corner. Now, of course, I just did that in a funny direction. So if you're trying to keep to the directions in the original part of the film, I did my strike down here. And I end up over here on this side of the camera. So after we do that series, we come down, we do our strike up, we do another block, and then it's just like we cut or we manage to find something that we can catch and flick away, kind of getting it out of the way of the center area. In previous cases where you're here, I find the next step is a Charlie step, but not this time. This time, once you're here, you stay there. And I made the mistake of trying to keep my hands here the first time. They do separate. So once you get to this block, you're just flicking it away, because the next move starts to get interesting. We're going to be bringing up the sword and this foot, the whole side really, at the same time while bringing the sword fingers in. We're going to bring foot back, almost a clean off, and then it's a strike. So that one came to there. Whew, that was way far forward. Okay, let's not do that. And that's another twist, of course. Once you get there, this move's kind of fun. You're gonna get the sword fingers, connect them up at the wrist, and the sword actually just kind of folds over onto your arm. And you'll lean back, you'll shift back. The left foot crosses over the right toe a little bit and will pivot with you. And you turn. And there's a strike there. Turn, strike. From a different angle, from the head-on direction. After I did the 1, 2, 3 strikes. Go for the right top, yeah. Ah, I moved too far back. It's not after the 3 strikes. This is after just clear. Okay, forward. I'll do a shift a little back. Let the foot cross. Okay, now I've done every which direction. Going back to the original direction that I started with would have me doing my block up here, flick something away, up, strike, bring it in, step over, strike. And the last thing we do, I nicknamed Repulse Monkey Got a Sword, because it's pretty similar. You're going to be doing an attack like this with the arms, but you're going to do it with the Repulse Monkey steps almost. You're going to do a strike, 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 and then on this one, you'll let the sword fingers go. You're going to bring it forward. And one of the key things that I mentioned is trying to have that be as narrow as possible. So if I was doing those strikes towards the camera, so I had just done that. There, that's what I was looking for. So these all narrow. And then with this one, you want the sword to be going with you as close as you can to your body, and then only strike out after you clear whatever friends you have on both sides. So those are all the moves that we learned. We'll see how much we get to learn next week.